Hey everyone, welcome back to Honest About the Irish. So Notre Dame's nightmare scenario for the rest of college football, for all those Notre Dame haters out there, the chaos scenario that Notre Dame needed to have, of course, did not happen over the weekend. Alabama won their SEC championship game, and of course, Michigan, a very, very great football team, one of the greatest football teams of all time, who had a brutal schedule this year, won their Big Ten conference over a very, very dominant force, Iowa Hawkeyes. I mean, God, I was so surprised how good that game was by Michigan. I mean, Iowa was just routing everyone this year. Of course, number 3, Georgia was formerly number 1, fell from number 1 to 3 after being routed by Alabama, and we'll get into that game. And then, of course, number 4, the only undefeated team in the top 10 there, Cincinnati at 13-0. Not surprising that they would get in at number 4. So the 1 through 4 rankings is set, and Notre Dame's Fiesta Bowl against the Oklahoma State Cowboys is set on New Year's Day out in Arizona at 12 noon Central Time. But before we get into the Fiesta Bowl and a record since 1998 that's concerning about Notre Dame and New Year's Six bowl games, before we get into that, let's go over the Alabama SEC game. A lot of people were surprised by that game. You know, I necessarily wasn't surprised by that game. I felt that Alabama was a hungrier team than Georgia. Look at the way Alabama played the week prior against Auburn. They struggled. They didn't look good. They didn't score a touchdown until late in the fourth quarter there. You know, I think the committee would have used that against Alabama if Alabama had lost that game against Georgia and said, look, you almost tripped up against Auburn. You lost to Georgia in your SEC game. You're out. And Notre Dame most likely would have been in at number 4, and Cincinnati would have been pushed to number 3 because Oklahoma State had lost earlier in the day to Baylor and Notre Dame's opponent in the Fiesta Bowl, of course, and there was a possibility that Oklahoma State could leapfrog over Notre Dame and sneak in at the number 4 spot, but that did not happen for them as well. So, Nick Saban prepares his teams really well. He's going to have a month to prepare against Cincinnati because 1 and 4 play each other in the semifinal game. And Cincinnati is going to have a lot to handle against Alabama, of course. So good luck with that. Nick Saban having 4.5 weeks to prepare. I mean, that just guy's like a mad scientist. And of course, Michigan's really impressive win over Iowa. I mean, silly me. All the criticism I've been giving to Michigan, how great of a team they are. I mean, they looked great in the first half. They even looked better in the second half. This team came up through so much this year. They had such a brutal schedule against Nebraska, against Rutgers, against, a really tough Northwestern team. They dominated those teams, and of course they beat a really good Ohio State team. They still gave up over 390 yards of passing against Ohio State. But Michigan, man, I think Michigan should just be the national championship. I think they're going to dominate Georgia. They're going to go into the national championship game against Alabama and beat Alabama. So just give the national championship to Michigan because Michigan is a great team. I mean, the greatest team of all time. Jim Harbaugh, you know what? We should just give him the highest achievement award by the president. Listen, I'm being sarcastic. Michigan fans are the most annoying fans of all. They won't shut up about how great Michigan is. Look, it took Jim Harbaugh 6 years to become relevant. Okay, so good luck to you guys. Good luck against Georgia. I think the spread is 7.5, and because 2 and 3 play each other. Of course, Michigan at number 2 and Georgia at number 3. I think Michigan's a little bit more a one-dimensional team against Georgia. Of course, Georgia is a very powerhouse defense. It didn't look that way against Alabama. Did Alabama expose Georgia? We'll find out against Michigan. But I think Georgia has a little bit more talents and key positions at tight ends and wide receivers that can have more options against Michigan. So I think Michigan will be tested here as well. Is Georgia too, so we'll have to see how that game turns out. But you know what? Oh, what a great team Michigan is, man! I should apologize to Michigan fans. I didn't realize how great of a team you guys were, and congratulations on your really tough schedule, and good luck against the Georgia Bulldogs. I really think you should be the national championships anyways because you have a great coach there in Jim Harbaugh. All these games are blowouts. The semifinal games are blowouts. I hope the Alabama Cincinnati game is close, no matter which way it goes. I don't really have a dog in that game. I really hope the blowout game is Georgia by 21 by 3 touchdowns over Michigan, and then these Michigan fans can go home crying. Look, these Michigan fans, I know they've been texting me, blowing up my phone. Look, it took you 6 years to become relevant. Congratulations, guys, since Jim Harbaugh has been there. So 1 through 4 is set. We all know who the semifinal games are going to be, what the matchups are going to be. Now let's get into Notre Dame playing the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who came up inches short against Baylor, which could have changed their season. They possibly could have been in the college football playoff. We'll never know. But unfortunately, they're not. And they will play Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl. A very talented team. A team that had a quiet 11-1 season. Beat Oklahoma at the end of the year there, and really impressive team. They've been good for a while. Notre Dame has never played Oklahoma State. I don't know much about them. There isn't a lot of love for the Big 12 nationally. It seems like the Big 12 doesn't get a lot of love because they haven't really produced a great team over the years, except for Oklahoma. Texas, of course, always seems to be a top 15 team. They always falter because Texas has never really been in that good of a program since 2006 when they won their national championship against USC. So, Notre Dame, of course, on New Year's Six bowl games, we know what the scenario is. Since 1998, they are 0-7 on New Year's Six bowl games. Their last big bowl game on New Year's Day was the Cotton Bowl in 1994, January 1st, 1994, when they beat Texas A&M. The season where they lost against Boston College in their last play of the game, a field goal after they had beaten Florida State a week prior. So that was like basically the last big bowl game Notre Dame has won. And it hasn't been pretty. Like I said, outscored by 23 points by their opponents. So hopefully Notre Dame will start a new trend here of winning big bowl games. Marcus Freeman has a lot on his plate. Of course, he was announced Notre Dame's coach officially today at the press conference and everything. It was pretty cool. He said he's going to try everything in his power to get a Notre Dame victory on New Year's Day against Oklahoma State in the Fiesta Bowl. So that's impressive. It's an impressive way to start your season. Could you imagine if Notre Dame had snuck in at number 4 and Notre Dame's like, here we go, coach, your first game is against Alabama in the semifinal game. Whew, that would have been crazy. But we can't use that scenario because it didn't happen, so we don't use what ifs here. But sometimes it's okay to think about, it's okay to dream and think about happier times. But playing in the Fiesta Bowl in a warm climate state in a nice, beautiful dome, it's going to be nice to see Notre Dame on the big stage in a New Year's Six bowl game. Just hopefully it has a different outcome, unlike since 1998, where they've been outscored by an average of 23 points. And then maybe Notre Dame will start something great here, and we'll just have to see. Like I said, it was an impressive season for them, and Marcus Freeman is the new heir at Notre Dame, and we'll have to see how that turns out. But that is pretty much it for today. I noticed you guys are probably wondering why I look a little green on the top. I look like a glowy green ghost from Star Wars. I look like a Force ghost. I look like Obi-Wan glowing. It's because I have a green screen behind me. I'm trying something out new with a different background. I wanted to have an artificial background, different pictures every show to make it a little bit more creative and expand. Little things I got to adjust on the filters, but I know I do not have green hair. It looks like I have green hair around my edges. I just got to adjust the resolutions. It's a little bit new for me, but I'm expanding here at B-Man is Mad, and I want to be, a little bit more creative. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So every show, there should be a different picture, or if there's a topic I'm talking about, it'll pop up. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new, leave a comment. And as always, go Irish.